Um, my topic is on eugenics, which was an idea by Francis Galton and then later on Charles Davenport. So basically, eugenics was an attempt to improve the human race through breeding. The goal was to purify the human race, and it was actually started mostly in America, some in Britain, and then later on Germany took it to the extreme during World War II and the Holocaust. The difference between the American eugenics and the German eugenics was that the Americans, even though what they did was horrible, thankfully the extent was just controlling breeding and then the sterilization. Um, However, Germany took it all the way to genetic experiments and mass murder in order to get their improved Aryan race. In the 1880s, heredity was believed to be the scientific cause for impurities in society, and in 1904, Galton lays out the process for introducing eugenics to the public, which, from 1904 to the 1950s, the formal eugenics movement actually began. In this movement, they created purity family competitions like state fairs. They had matchmaking services to find the purest people to breed with other pure people by their standards. And eventually they did forced sterilizations of whoever they deemed to be unfit for basically having children and passing on their genetics. The full movement stopped after World War II for both countries because of how horrific the Holocaust was. And the goal was to solve social problems, such as crime, alcoholism, and prostitution. So basically, they wanted to treat the cause, which they thought was bad genetics, instead of the effect, which would be the crime, prostitution, alcoholism, etc. Charles Davenport joined an organization called the American Breeders Association, and then later started Eugenics Record Office, which basically collected information on everyone they deemed to be unfit, which kind of reminds me of Harry Potter and like the purebloods and mudbloods, but anyways. The most notable funding for the Eugenics Record Office was John Kellogg and ABA. So this is Kellogg as in the cornflakes cereal company that we all know today. He was an extreme eugenicist. He thought that race and mental disorders were the largest damaging factors for our society, which is kind of crazy how he's such a big company now. It's even today, and it was just looked over, I guess, that he was such a proponent of superior people. Basically, there's two types of eugenics. So positive eugenics was encouraging breeding of people with desirable traits, which Britain kind of went this route back in the 1800s and 1900s. And then there was negative eugenics, which was the goal was to reduce degenerate offspring, which is the route the Americans and then later the Germans to the extreme took. So scientists back then thought that all social problems like poverty, alcoholism, they thought that it was all genetic, like not environmental whatsoever, so they didn't think about solving the environmental factors that led into these sorts of situations. They just wanted to solve the genetic portion, which of course is not possible. Hitler stated in his book Mein Kampf that he drew inspiration of his eugenic movement from the Americans because he thought it was so successful. That's a little bit crazy. But yeah, thanks.